going to be recorded. And welcome. We are exactly at the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and get started because as facilitators, that's what we do. So hello, glad to see all of you here this morning, evening, afternoon. Today we are gathered to explore the phases in the development of a professional facilitation career and your journey as a facilitator. Our hosts today are Barbara Mackay from North Star Facilitators and Eileen Pippins from Eileen Pippins Consulting. Thank you both for being here. I've worked with Barbara for many years. She actually has a course in our meeting school on leading engaging meetings, which has been very popular. I'm delighted to learn more about the facilitation phases and journey as they share them through their work as mentors. And I hope you all are excited to be here too, and that you have a fabulous time. Now, this event, like all events here in the meeting innovation community, is fresh. It's new. It's an experiment. And we would love your feedback because we love to learn from what we do here. So there's a link in the chat. It's a link I'd like you to open right this very minute for feedback. You can fill it out after we're done, but I don't want you to lose it in case you have to leave a little bit early. So go ahead and open the feedback link now. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our host. Thank you so much for bringing this to our community, Barbara and Eileen.
Thank you, Elise. It's just a pleasure to be here and to be surrounded by these beautiful people and my wonderful colleague, Eileen. And so Eileen and I have designed a Google slide deck for you, and we have, Eileen's been dropping it in the chat. Thank you so much. And we would just want to share, we'll share that right away. You can access it on your own. We'll also screen share it, and Eileen's going to do that in just a minute. But we want to say that we have been on a journey ourselves. Eileen and I have been doing some technology of participation training together, and I'm kind of at the end of my journey, and Eileen is midstream in her journey, and we just wanted you to think about your journey. At the very end, we'll have a handout for you that kind of looks at the 9 stages of the facilitator journey, and there's some metaphors in it, and you can kind of assess yourself on the way. And what we've decided to do together, because Eileen and I love working together, is put together a couple of levels of competency building, and we'll kind of go through that occasionally. But the session today is extremely interactive. You'll be breaking into small groups, and we're going to start that. So Eileen, I'm not seeing the screen sharing. Have you started that yet?
No, I have not started it yet. I'm about to right now.
So we just wanted to talk about our community agreements, and that's just something that we as facilitators often do. So we're talking about phases in your facilitation journey, and our community agreements are here. Thank you, Mimp. Nice to see you from the UK. No judgment zone. Don't yuck my yum. Be ready to participate. Remember to mute and unmute. Avoid distractions. Patience and grace with yourself. Listen openly. Raise your hand. Be mindful of your airtime. So when you, especially in your small groups, just know that people. We want to get everybody talking in the small groups, so just be mindful of your timing. And I think just without further ado, I think I'm going to pass it over to you, to Eileen, to just kind of start us in on a visualization. Did you want to do that before we share the agenda, or?
Yes. So
okay,
Thank you, Barbara. So because this is about your facilitation journey, one of the things we, hey, welcome Ola from Lagos. Sorry, I just saw that in the chat. Lagos, Nigeria. So because this is all about your facilitation journey, we want to know, we want you to get grounded in wherever you are in your journey. And so that starts with thinking about where you've been. So, excuse me. So I want you to take a moment and just settle in your seat. You don't need to click on anything for this portion. we're just going to do a quick visualization to get you grounded in where we're going to be going. So if everyone could take a deep breath and then exhale, take another deep breath and exhale. And then this time, as you're comfortable, you can just close your eyes and take another deep breath and exhale. So we're going to go back to when you first realized that you were on this journey of facilitation. You made the decision, or when you found yourself facilitating groups, facilitating meetings, why did you start? Get in your mind where you were at the beginning of your journey. What types of facilitation were you using? What types of groups did you find yourself in front of? What excited you about facilitation? What came easy to you? Where did you thrive? What challenged you? Where did you find yourself pushing back? What skills or knowledge or uniqueness about you has had the greatest impact in your work? Where do you know that you've made a difference? And where do you want to grow? Take a deep breath in and then exhale. And I want you to get into mind an image or phrase that best describes how you see yourself as a facilitator. What is an image or phrase that best describes how you see yourself as a facilitator? Get that in your mind. Then take another deep breath in and exhale. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, roll your shoulders. Take another deep breath in and then exhale and let your eyes open up and come back into the room. And we want you to take a moment and, thinking about your journey, answer this question. This is going to be your moment to share a piece of your journey. When you think about your journey, what is one skill or quality that you brought to a meeting that really inspired you to consider being a facilitator? So take a moment. You can write it down. Something else you'll need for our time together today is paper and something to write on. We believe in being off screen. So what is one skill or quality that you brought to a meeting that really inspired you to consider becoming a facilitator? And we're going to put that also in the chat in just a moment. You're going to have 2 minutes to answer this question. And you want to think about, you're going to have 3 to 4 people. Thank you, Richard. But hold that thought because you're going to share it with some people in this room. We're going to have about 3 to 4 people in the room, and you'll have 5 minutes total. So you're going to see 4 minutes with a 60-second countdown. And you all know, maximize that countdown. There's no need to rush back to us in the main room. Does anybody have any questions? And before we send you off, we're going to make sure that this is in the chat. So hold on 1 second. This in the chat. I'll find the chat. All right, so everybody has it.
Great, and I'm ready to send up people out. Eileen?
All right, let's go. We'll see you in 5 minutes. Okay, we got some people coming back.
Yeah, I wish I can get back in there with them because, it was, yeah.
It's all good.
That was pretty short, wasn't it?
You have 30 seconds left. We said maximize that time. But awesome. I'm glad that it's never enough time. Well, I watch the question that I ask when people get back.
Especially for facilitators. Woo!
Oh, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. All right, raise your hand if you got cut off mid-sentence. Raise your hand if you felt like it was too short. Awesome. Let's hear from about three people who want to share, want to answer the question, what's one skill or quality that you brought to a meeting that really inspired you to become a facilitator? And you got to do it in 1 minute or less. Who wants to share? You can just come off mute.
Well, I guess our group talked about facilitation. Watching other people facilitate poorly is frustrating. So we brought inclusiveness and interaction and framing, purpose. What's the purpose of the meeting?
Thank you, Morgan. Anyone else? Let's hear from two more people.
In our group, hi, it's Lisa. We talked about just as natural things that came naturally to us, which was around connecting and the ability to sort of hear diverse views and then somehow bring bring that together for everyone to sort of react to. I hope I'm capturing what the group talked about, but everybody seemed to build on that, that ability to listen, that ability to hear a bunch of different views and then somehow pull it together or help the group pull it together in a way that they could make sense of it. I think that's where a lot of us sort of resonated with a lot of us in our group.
Thank you. And one more. Let's hear from one more person. Are you trying to unmute, Mip? Okay, I saw you leaning in.
I could speak if you want me to.
Oh no, I just saw you leaning in. That's one of the key things we do as facilitators. We know how to read this screen and look for the nonverbals. It's easier to do in person, but that slow lean in looked like you were looking for that unmute button.
Oh, you're good. Oh my God. I think we talked about kind of bridging between cultures in the organization, as well as also like coming to a resolution and kind of hearing people out more. And anybody from my group, please jump in. I don't know what else we talked about a few things.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. So as long as you can get into tapping into reflecting on your why, I'm sure that many of you, as you go on your journey, have been double checking on your why to say, sometimes, do I want to keep doing this? Where do I go next? How can I thrive as a facilitator? And so we're going to talk about the different levels in your facilitation journey, and being grounded in your why will keep you going and help you to be more successful, because you're as successful as the people that you're also facilitating for, right? Not about their success, not about, yes, it's great if they make it out, but the fact that when we're present with groups, in that moment, they're successful because they get to have the conversations that they need to have, right? So keep grounded in that why. I dropped in the chat our Google Doc for those of you who didn't get it the first time when you first landed. And so we're just finished our icebreaker on slide 5. If you join me on slide 6, I'm going to share my screen again. We'll be sharing the screen intermittently because we also want to make sure, for those of you who only have one screen or a small screen, that you don't feel overwhelmed by the imagery and disconnected from us. So this is our journey today. We've done our welcome. You've had a chance to introduce yourself and meet some people. We've gone over our community agreements together. You've done your individual journey walk, and now we're going to start moving through these levels. So our first level is the bronze level. That's our foundational competencies. And then level 2 is the silver. And in our silver level, when you think about where you are in the journey or where you're going, that's expanding your toolkit. And Barbara's gonna talk more about that. And then we're gonna offer a little break. Then we're gonna go into the gold level, which is coaching and mentoring and expanding your expertise and thinking about community of practice opportunities. And then we're gonna have our final reflection and close. Okay. So on to anything else you wanna, did I miss anything, Barbara?
No, that's great. Thanks, Eileen.
All right, so let's go into our first level. So our first level is our bronze level. We're calling that our bronze level. You'll understand why we're labeling these levels shortly. So we are facilitators, and also in our role of facilitator, we are more than just in front of the room, right? We're partners with our clients. It doesn't matter if you're internal or external. We help guide conversations. We plan and design. So we're setting the clear map for the participants and for our clients. We are the task masters, meaning that we're helping to manage time so people can get the work done that they need to get done. And then also we're sometimes we facilitate after an event, like we can be facilitating asynchronously, right? When you're thinking about implementation of whatever plans your group's going, we're helping to enable and motivate people to, so there's maximum engagement. And so our competencies as facilitators are based in the following areas. So our ability to facilitate, our inherent values. So think about what you value as a professional, but also as a facilitator and as an individual when you're working with groups. The different behaviors that we exude as facilitators, our technical acumen, I'm gonna say our technical abilities. I always struggle with acumen. Oh, yeah, I just said it. And then our experience. How much experience do we have? So we want you to take a moment and we want you to write down when you think about, as a facilitator, answering the following question. What is one foundational competency you want to learn, or that you're curious about, or that you could be stronger in? What is one foundational competency that, as a facilitator, that you want to learn, that you're curious about, or that you could be stronger in? So take a moment and write that down. And then I'm going to tell you, we're going to have you put it in the chat, but we don't want you to hit enter yet. So take a moment. And then when you get your foundational, like what is something that every facilitator must have? Like this is primary. So you're going to type it in the chat. And then I'm going to do a countdown. I'll say 3, 2, 1. And when I say now, then you'll hit enter. Are we ready? And 3, 2, 1, hit enter.
Wow, cool.
Empathy, methodologies, pace and delivery, lots of empathy. Lots of empathy. Allison, why is empathy important?
Empathy is incredibly important because it helps people feel heard and acknowledged. And that's what most people are needing.
Yvette, you said methodology. Why is that important?
I'm just always curious about sort of additional ways of being together and knowing what's the right way to be together for the right topic.
Thank you. Richard, classroom management. Why is that important?
I think that is really important because it gives you an opportunity as a facilitator to manage the process, ensure that you are able to achieve your objectives at a certain session, and also be in control, because sometimes things can just go overboard in a very quick way. So ensuring that you are able to observe, you are able to maintain, you are of course also being able to work within the scheduled time is also important.
Yes, yes, excellent. Thank you. Okay, wonderful. I love this. Time management, patience. Pat, like you're going to be my last one. Can you say something about patience, why that's important? Pat E.
Yeah, sorry. I think it's patience with both myself and making sure that when my brain starts going in one direction, that I can bring it back to the group, and not having a direction except the direction that's been set by the group, and patience with my biases that I may have that might come out when someone else is communicating.
Thank you. The reason why you're going to be sharing as a group in a moment. One of the things that I just want to hear off the top from a few of you is the thought about when we think about our competencies, where do we find ourselves looking at those competencies? Because these competencies can flow between before we're in front of the group, when we're in our planning, to when we're actually in front of the group. So it goes in all areas, all levels. So now we're going to put you in groups, and we want you to answer the question, what is one foundational competency you feel every facilitator should have? And you're going to compile a list of 3. Okay, so if you go to, and based on, we have 8 groups. So you're going to have, what do you think? How many people are in the groups, Barbara?
Actually, I made 7 groups, so we got about 6 in each group. And just so you know, what we're doing is we're taking you from your individual thinking to small group thinking, and then coalesce into larger group thinking, which is an aspect of competency building and gaining agreement, just so you know our technique here.
Can I transparent. Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
When you say one foundational competency, is it from what you presented, or is it just a brainstorm of what we think?
Latter.
It's the brainstorm of what you all come together. So you're going to share your individual ones. If you come up with an additional competency that you feel is important, it doesn't have to be the ones for the people who happen to share out here. You can use that one, or you might have another one in mind. But as a group, you're going to pick 3. And on slide, so what's going to happen is you're going to pay attention to the group. My mouse, I don't see my mouse. Okay, here we go. You're going to pay attention to the group that your room number, and you're each going to have a slide assigned. So you are going to type your key competency in the text box below. And then based on that competency, we want you to go on the web and find an image that best represents that competency. What would that competency look like? And then you'll cut and paste and put it on the blue. Okay. So you'll have, what do we want to do? We want to do 10 minutes?
I think we'd plan for 7, but I'll make it 8. How about that?
Okay, we'll do 8 minutes. And then you'll have a 30-second countdown. Okay. And in your competency, try and use 3 to 7 words. So when you say, like, let's say, for example, empathy. Well, do we want to do 3 to 7 words?
I think it could be anywhere between 2 to 7.
Yeah, 2 to 7. We'll change that to 2 to 7. Any questions before we send you off into your groups? All right. So we'll see you in 7.5 minutes. 8.5.
Probably more 8.5. Okay, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for those of you who had time and effort to do images. That was awesome.
These are great. Okay, so we're going to let's start. We're going to grab 3 people, 3 groups. Okay. Group 1, share with us one competency in the image and why it's important in 1 minute or less. Spokesperson from group 1.
I'll just jump in.
Thanks, Amy.
We came up with several skills that we thought were really important. And the reason why passion and compassion, I think, made it out of the long list we came up with was particularly because it's not necessarily a skill set, that it's an energy that people bring to the work. That's not necessarily something that can be trained.
Thank you. And group 5. Let's hear something, a competency that you came up with in the image, why you chose the image.
That would be slide 14 for those of you who are looking.
I think that's us. Am I right, group?
Yes.
We worked really hard on finding something that got at active listening. And we really felt that the idea that it's active listening is a huge skill that comprises many different skills really came to the fore. And each of these things is a competency unto itself that can be practiced and promote active listening in groups that are being facilitated. We also couldn't let go of empathy because we felt like it was so supremely important to be able to take others' perspectives.
Thank you. No, we only needed 1. But thank you so much, Carolyn. That is
one
okay.
is done.
1 and done. Thank you. And the last one, well, actually, we're going to move forward, but I was really curious about group number 6. I just love the imagery, and I'm a visual learner. So these are very powerful. One of the things, if you come with us to slide 18, is in the, Shahrazad's joining us, Barbara, from all the way from Iran. Okay, I just love all the international. I love all of you. I'm just excited to be here. I'm sorry, but it's one of our colleagues. Okay, so on slide 18, in our foundational level for the membership program that Barbara and I have collaborated on, we're all about making sure and setting up our primary foundational competencies. So the competencies that we're currently including and also plan to expand and include are team building, equity and inclusion, conflict resolution, facilitation, business, because a lot of us tend to struggle. We know what to do when we're in front of a group, but for entrepreneurs, it can be challenging dealing with the business side of things. Building consensus, strategic planning, dialogue and engagement, and brainstorming. And then on slide 19, we have decision-making, client care and relationships, co-facilitation or organizational development and change management. And when we think about that, we're going to be also continuing to add to our library. So interpersonal communication skills, public speaking, equity and inclusion. And so there's always more to come. And especially we're going to be taking some of the things that you also shared in your slides and considering those as we continue to build out our library. So,
and Eileen, I just want to say thank you to everyone because we were trying to figure out some of the categories. We have so many resources, materials that we built up over decades, and we wanted to keep adding to our library, our resource library for people to access. So your really beautiful thinking about what competencies are most important will help us build our library, and hopefully Elise as well, because that's language that hadn't necessarily thought about. So thank you for building our research and adding to our database.
Thank you. On slide 20, when you think about one aspect of client care, especially in a virtual environment, we want to make sure that we're taking some time to give our eyes a break. So we actively practice the 20-20-20, which is approximately every 20 minutes, taking 20 seconds to stretch and look 20 feet away or more. So we'd like you to take your eyes off the screen and look as far as you can. Find a point that is off through a window or just away from the blue screen, and just focus. Make sure that you're blinking. Let your eyes focus on something else. Enjoy the view. Think about how fast this time is going while you're looking away, because there's other things in life. We're about to get back at it in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, I forgot to stretch, Barbara. I'm glad you stood up. I think I started to stretch and I looked up. I prefer looking out the window, but I don't stretch enough. All right. Thank you all so much. And now Barbara will stop sharing her screen, and we're going to go and move to the next level on slide 21. And take it away, Barbara, and tell me when you want me to share the screen. You're on mute. I'm sorry, Barbara, you're on mute.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Eileen. And what we want to introduce you to now is our second level. We're going to have an opportunity for you to look at these levels a bit more, but in the journey of the facilitator, we know that the first step is really just like, accessing different resources and competencies and then practicing a bit. But we also know that there comes a stage when you really want to build your client base, you really want to have more time to practice, you really want to be more efficient and effective. And so we built this sort of silver toolkit that's about expanding your competencies, learning how to design, learning how to contract, taking care of your clients, business development, that sort of thing. So we have a whole bunch of templates that we are offering you. And one of the tools that we would like to share with you is building consensus. So if you go to slide 22, this is a technique from the technology of participation, and it's called the flip chart consensus method. We're going to have you build consensus in groups quickly over a couple of questions. And Eileen, I assume you'll be kind of building enough groups for people to go into the different design rooms, and we might have to replicate.
I got it.
A couple of those slides, right?
How many? We're doing 8.
Let's have 6 people in each group, so like maybe seven groups. So what we want you to do is brainstorm your ideas individually, and when we put you in groups, you'll take just a minute, a minute or two, just to look at the question. We have 2 questions, and depending on you'll be either in question 1 or question 2. And your question will either be, what do we need to plan a successful department retreat? And as a group, you'll pop your answers into the slide that you're assigned to. So if you're group 1, again, you'll be on slide 24. And if you're group 2, you'll be slide 25, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll just try and help you make sure you're in the right place. And after you've had a chance to just brainstorm in a small group, we'll bring you out and ask for some volunteers to, we'll randomly choose one of your sets of answers. So maybe the group that's got the largest number of answers, and we'll show you how you can quickly code answers into like groups, and then give them a theme, an overall title. So you're building consensus around what are the things we need to plan a successful department retreat. Or if you look at slide 25, some of you will be handling the question, what are the elements of an inclusive work environment from your point of view? And so let me just stop and ask if there are any questions. You'll have about 10 or so minutes to do the brainstorming part. We'll bring you out of your group, and we'll ask for 5 or 6 volunteers to work with me as we demonstrate how we would group the ideas from one of the groups that you'll be in right now. And so, yeah, so don't worry, we'll keep broadcasting instructions to you, but let me know, Eileen, if you're ready to move the groups.
Do we want to give them 2 minutes first?
They don't know what question they'll be brainstorming though, right? Until they're in their groups.
That's right. Okay.
So you may as well put them in the group, take 2 minutes. We'll take 2 minutes of silence. Just say a quick hello to each other, take 2 minutes of silence to brainstorm your own answers, and then have somebody write your answers down beside answer number 1 on your slide. And somebody who maybe is more proficient at Google Slides can do that.
And we're doing, you said 10 minutes, 8 minutes?
Yeah, let's put 8 minutes now.
Okay.
And if we need more, we'll give you more. We'll keep an eye on you.
That's what we do. And are there any questions? Any question? And
Sorry,
here's the easy.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Patrick.
We'll do Patrick and then Lisa.
How do we know again which slide will be assigned to?
So when the rooms will open up, you'll see your room number. And so then you'll go to the corresponding slide. So if you're in room 5, then you will be on slide.
There doesn't seem to be a group 4 or group 5.
Oh, I messed up the numbering. Okay, there's one. Group 1 is on slide 24. Group 2 is on slide 25. And so on. Oh, I missed. Oh.
I'm fixing them up, Eileen.
Okay, so you'll see the slide and we've got to add some duplicates. So as soon as Barbara gets those, we need 2 extra slides, I think. 4, 5.
Did you make 8 slides or?
6. I thought I did, but I did not. Hold on, let me make.
Looks like only 6. Anyway, don't worry, I'll add a couple more.
I just added one more.
Okay, great.
Okay, so now we have the slides in there, and then Barbara's I'm gonna do one more check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we have 7 groups. There's gonna be either 5 or 6 people in your group. And so once you get in there, know that this is also the thing, we're pressing the gas. So you wanna make sure that have somebody volunteer immediately to be the timekeeper to help keep you all on track. And by the time you get to probably about 3 minutes, you wanna have your list already going. So make sure that you're while you're brainstorming, but you're also being conscious of your time. Lisa, what was your question?
Yeah, so my question is, we're just coming up with the list, and then as a full group, Barbara's going to pull some of the lists and build and like code and name them. So we're not coding and naming, we're just grouping and naming. We're just coming up with our brainstorm list. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. But 2 minutes of individual thinking first, and then we come up with our list before we're done.
Yes. Thank you, Lisa. It was a brilliant reframe of our very poor instructions. Or at least in my poor instructions, talking for myself. So off to your groups and we'll see you back with just your list complete, no theming in the small groups.
And here we go.
Great. Welcome back, everyone. Some of you, well, all of you got brilliant lists, and you'll see all of the answers when you get the follow-up email from Elise and Lucid Meetings. But thank you so much for your really great work. Could 5 to 7 people put their name in the chat if you're willing to volunteer to help me facilitate you theming one group's ideas? Could be anybody. It doesn't have to be the group that we're choosing. Just pop your name in the chat. We'll take the first 5 people.
I'm sorry, Barbara, can you articulate what the ask is here?
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm asking for 5 people to volunteer to work with me as I facilitate you. So I've got Carolyn grouping the ideas. And so that Vivian and Carolyn have volunteered so far. Who else? We'd like 3 to 4 more volunteers. Sherzad, thank you so much, Sherzad. Anushka, great. Carolyn, Vivian. I'm gonna write your names down. One more person. And don't worry, I'll talk you through it. So it's really easy. All right, So Eileen's going to screen share a slide for us, and I'll be in on the slides as well. And we are looking at slide.
We're slide 30. If you could pardon all the, I couldn't see the images. It was just weird.
All right. Yeah, I had actually, so group 3, we're going to take your answers to this question. So while people were in breakout rooms, you were participating in either question number 1. One question was about this team departmental retreat, and the other was about creating an inclusive work environment. So we got a lot of answers here. So let's, the 5 people who volunteered, let's look at number 1. One is, so I'm demonstrating to the rest of the group how we might cluster these quite quickly. So number 1, location, time, date for meeting. Do you see any other idea that is similar to that idea? And we'll just call these the star ideas, and we'll put a star beside the first one. And where else do you see something similar to location, date, time for meeting amongst these?
Maybe structure and agenda.
Yeah, okay, let's put a star beside number 7.
Invitation and invitations and reminders.
Yeah, Shahrazad, I recognize your voice, so thank you. Whoops, I got 2 stars there. I didn't mean to do that.
We think the environment was slightly different, but we wanted to make a place for how we would arrive and set up our location in the time and date.
Yeah, great. Yeah. And I think so let's stop there for a minute. There may be others, but let's take number 2, purpose, objective, and meeting. Where do you see another idea we'll call those the moon ideas, and put the moon symbol beside it? And where do you see something that might be similar to purpose and objective of meeting?
16, feedback process mechanism.
And number 12.
Yeah, and number 12. And I'm just taking the first answer.
Operation, context, and power.
Say that one again. We've got purpose and objective meetings, number 12, preparation, and I missed something. I'm sorry.
Feedback process mechanism.
Okay, number 16. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
Anybody else who's Vivi and Shahrazad, Anushka, and Carolyn?
I think maybe the environment and we already counted that.
Maybe number 14, participation expectations of individual.
Okay. Yeah. And just, you can be sort of speaking out to me. Since I'm looking at the slide, I'm not seeing your faces, but normally I would see your faces. I would be looking for head nods and or frowns or worried looks. I'd say, well, let's just stop there and see whether I see somebody needs to speak to why that doesn't fit.
I also would put 13, facilitator, with the purpose and objective of the meeting as well.
And that's just a 1-word answer. So what the group that came up with that 13, a facilitator, what did you really mean by that?
I think that there is a question. I've participated in many meetings where it was several different leaders. So an appointed facilitator, either external to the group or whatever, needs to be selected and present. So that's a lot about the structure of the meeting itself. For me, it goes with purpose, objective.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. And was that Carolyn that spoke?
It was.
Okay, thanks so much, Carolyn. Let's look at number 3. We've got a couple more that we haven't coded yet. People guest list. What might that, if we say that's the, I think it's a dove or something like this. What is it similar to in terms of?
We have invitations and reminders. I think that should really go under people and the guest list rather than number 1. So
so maybe we'll take the star away from that and put a dove. Is that what you're suggesting, Shahrazad?
If it's okay, I think it's a better fit.
Okay, well, let's try that. Yeah, as you can see, the images are perfectly movable. Anything else that goes with people, guest list, and or invitations and reminders that's similar?
Anything like celebration, maybe?
Number
Okay.
15.
Number
Oh,
15.
15. So you'd put a dove beside 15.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Well, let's just keep moving on to not take up too much time. I think you're getting the sense of what we would do here. Does budget go somewhere different? Number 4. Is that
I would
a
actually
different idea?
add budget to the star, which is more the logistical things.
Okay, I'm going to take that as a star.
I would nod in agreement. That Carolyn nods in agreement.
I love that you're helping me because I'm so focused on this slide. Thank you. We have number 9, attire. Number 10, mindset, openness. And number 11, first aid that haven't been grouped. And then number 18.
Attire and first aid also go with the logistics. So with the star, that would make sense. Anushka.
Okay. Attire, logistics.
And I just want to check in real quick. Vivian, you had volunteered. Is there anything that you wanted to add? You're on mute, just in case you didn't know.
Thanks for catching that, Eileen.
There, I just figured out. I've actually bowed out because I am in the process of having some people renovate my house, and it has been very loud since we started this activity. So that is my reason. I'm not participating. It's just there's drilling and things going on.
We can't hear it, but thank you. I totally get that. We could put a little house somewhere like this. Oh, renovations going on here.
I volunteered in the last moment, but anyway, maybe team building activities can in a way be linked to purpose objective of the meeting.
Mm-hmm. And so which number are you referring to, please? Is that Andrew?
Is 5. Team building is 5 and purpose objective is number 2.
So you'd say it's maybe more like, so when you have an idea that kind of fits 2 categories, you can put 2 symbols beside it and that's okay. And it just kind of reminds you that it could go in either one. For the purposes of our time, is there very last minute anything you could, a different category that you might see here that we haven't put a code beside?
Maybe the mindset and openness, that could be a separate one.
Yeah, we'll put the teddy bear beside that.
Yeah. And I would put that with celebration, to be honest, because that kind of, for me, like, is like what the people are bringing to the space.
So we might add we could keep the dove there, but we got to add a teddy bear to it too. Yeah. Might fit in 2 categories. Yeah. Great. And the materials pre-read swag, just quick, where might you put that? Star? All right. Okay. Eileen, if it might be helpful on slide 31 to take what we've done here on slide 30 that and pop it in where the picture is, since that's not the right picture anyway.
Oh, it was.
But we're working on the team department thing, so. Oh, sorry. Yeah. But I wanted all the codes from 30.
Oh, so I didn't lock it. Okay, hold on. I got you.
Okay, yeah. So if you go back to 30, while we're looking, Eileen's going to paste our coding from slide 30 into that white box on 31. And if you could tell me, anyone, shout out, what's a 5 to 3 word phrase? Let's move it over there. Yeah. What's a 5 to 3 word phrase that might catch? I'll read out the ones that are starred. Location, time, date for meeting, budget, structure, agenda, environment, space, plan, food, refreshments, attire, first aid, and materials, pre-reads, and swag. What's kind of a 3 to 5 word phrase that might hold all of those ideas in terms of what we need to plan for a successful department retreat?
I'm for calling it logistics. It doesn't feel like it needs that many words.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you were to add an adjective to the word logistics, yes, a successful department retreat, what might you add as an adjective to kind of make it more exciting or more reverberating of the word successful?
Thought through, is that a word in English? So that someone has thought about it to the detail. So thought through.
And sorry, I'm not catching what the word is. It thorough?
No, yeah, let's use thorough. It was like thought through, like someone thought through it.
Or thought through, yeah, we can put that thought through. I like that. GHT, thought. Can't even spell it. How do you
Then
spell
let's go with
thought?
thorough.
Thought through. There we go. Your English is beautiful. I love it. All right. How about moon? Purpose, objective of meaning. I'm looking over here. Team building activities, preparation, context, and power dynamics, appointed facilitator, participation, expectation for individual, and feedback process mechanism. Somebody different. Let's think of a title.
Could that be either the agenda or having a dynamic agenda? We can call it, purpose or agenda. I would
have said the why and the how.
Oh yeah, the why and the how.
And just real quick, since we now have the moon, there's a list. I can't use my words. In the chat, someone suggested logistics and support instead of thought through logistics.
Okay, logistics
but
and support.
But there was missing the adjective.
Okay, yeah, and I just so we would carry on like that, name all of the themes here, and so this whole process might take about 30 to 45 minutes to take a question that's really important to your group and build some consensus in the 5 or 6 categories that we've got here. We would say, okay, what do we need to plan? Well, we'll have maybe a committee to work on logistics and support, another one to work on a dynamic agenda of the why and how, etc. So that helps you build some task forces or the next action plan to this. I am going to stop there because of our time, and we want to have you take a look at our last set of activities and levels of facilitation journey. And at the end, you will get a couple of assessment forums and some videos and stuff like that to think about your own journey. Over to you, Eileen.
Thank you, Barbara. All right, so we can travel to slide 32, and then we're going to move forward. We just want you to think about this question as a final reflection of what you think about consensus building and what you'd like to improve on when you think about your practice. So just keep that in mind. And we'll take a quick 20-second break again while we get ready for our next and final level. Just look far off your screen, give your eyes a break. Do a little stretch, a little shoulder roll, neck roll, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Join me on slide 34 for our final level. So when we think about the gold level, this is when you are the facilitator extraordinaire. And you're now at a level where you are having a cohort experience with a community of practice. It's designed for your specific needs wherever you are in your journey at this expertise level, meaning where you're getting clear on the direction of where you want to go. You get to hang out with great facilitators, you're building your community of practice, and you're doing active peer practice and design and building consensus competencies. Some of you are also getting to a level of coaching and mentoring, which is where you can think about how you get to share your knowledge, your experience. And coaching and mentoring are two separate things. But in the membership that we're offering at this gold level, this is when you get to come and play with us, share your ideas, and see where you get to stretch and grow without recreating the wheel. That's really what mentoring and coaching is about. So now on slide 35, we're going to offer you an opportunity to get some active. Oh, let me unpin. I'm sorry. Take the spotlight off of our other folks from the previous. Sorry about that. is there someone who has a client issue that you're currently trying to work through? Who would like some coaching on a client issue that you're trying to work through? Just raise your hand.
I actually have one, but I have so much noise in the background. Would you need me to be off mute the whole time? Because they're removing sheet metal from my house.
Oh, now we
like
hear
thunder. Yeah, it's like thunder every so often.
Okay.
So would you be able to go back and forth with me?
Yeah.
Okay, we can try as long as everybody's okay with the thunder.
What were you gonna? And one second, Barbara was just about to share something before we jump into it.
No worries. I think we can work with you, Carolyn. Let's go with it.
Oh, it's Vivian. Going with Vivian.
Yeah,
Vivian,
okay.
sorry.
So the one that I just bumped into very recently is working with a group that believes they're really good at consensus decision making already, but they're not.
Okay.
Or like they're very like a group of people who are frustrated because they're not getting anything done, but they're all so enlightened. I don't know how to explain it without sounding like I'm being judgy, because I am kind of being judgy, but just getting caught up on their own wokeness.
Okay.
And then not being able to move forward because of that, and then getting frustrated and then looping back around.
Okay. So what is your role with this group?
I came in to do a strategic planning, get our poop back in a group and reconnect kind of session, which already I know that was too loaded. I don't think you can be taking the time to reconnect and also like get a 5-year plan together. Like it was way too much. And but like I have been invited to come back and continue to work with them, except that like they don't want anything to be in a grid and they don't want any action items, but they want to know what they're going to do for the next 3 years.
Okay. And so
so I'm just like,
so in your role in working with them, where have you been successful in pointing out the gaps?
I don't think I have.
Okay. All right. And so if you haven't shown them the gaps of why the strategic plan won't be successful, that can be a challenge. So what would help you get clear on presenting those gaps to them?
I think they have to self-identify them.
Okay.
Like
so
I think it's just, yeah.
So again, I'm going to ask you, what is one thing that you can do to help them see the gaps in order to help them move forward?
So I think like this group really likes to use the circle way and go around in circles. And they're very resistant to anything being written down, but I really think it needs to start to be written down.
Okay. And so it sounds like one thing that you can do is share with them the value of writing down the gaps to help keep them focused. Sure. Okay. Thank you. And then I'm going to pass to Barbara if there are any questions that you have for her or anything you'd like to share.
So I was just writing down some of the questions, and Melanie offered an idea, Vivian, about the SWOT method.
Well, we don't SWOT.
Yeah, you don't SWOT.
Well, no. It's like they want to do things in a whole new way. Mm-hmm. And so anything that is a grid or timelines, anything that looks like a SWOT, anything that has been done or they've seen before. And this is a very, I would say that probably 5 of them are facilitators. It's almost like a resistance to anything that has ever been related to anything in that feels to them like it came from corporate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
So one of
resistant
the
to anything useful.
Yeah, anything that I'm used to using to actually get to action and consensus is like, no. We just want to think about these things. And I'm like, but you asked me to come in here so you could figure out why you're coming together and what you're doing. And that's going to require some action items. We don't really want any action items. We want, and that's not the whole group, but it's like the power, like by upside downing and making everything very inclusive, there is a resistance to anything being like, there's no way to do anything top down. So there's always like this flip of power of like, no, that's like, it's, I don't know. And there's just never enough time to get them anywhere.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So one of the things that I would want to demonstrate if we had time, Vivian, is just to give you some empathy to show you that, yeah, this is a really, really difficult plan, and it's frustrating.
The delicate balance between leader in every chair or leader in every seat and getting anywhere, because leader in every seat only works when trust is really high.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be something, actually saying, thank you for letting me talk this out loud. It's cool. The thing that actually they need the value of is the value of trusting each other.
Yeah.
And why that trust is so hard for everybody there, because the trust is really hard for a lot of people in that group. And there are very, very good reasons for that.
Wow. What a great, beautiful insight. Thank you, Vivian.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Barbara. One of the things that I would close with is that you have to trust yourself. And so if you know that with this group, where they want you to take them, they're resistant to, we all know that you can't move forward if there's this obstacle in the road that nobody's willing to name. And so one of the things that you can do is be emboldened and empowered to share with them your observations. Because remember, you're on the outside looking in. I had a group that had some deep conflict. And one of the things I shared with them, because they were so anti-structure, is I gave the equivalent of, it's Thanksgiving holiday, or a holiday. It's a holiday gathering. And when you drive down the street, everybody has people at the house. But what stands out about your house is that the turkey is on the front lawn. Someone threw it through the front window. And you seem to think that, oh, but everybody else is having dinner. So you have to call it out because they're not willing to, and be okay with that. And so some of that, like Barbara said, we would spend more time with doing peer coaching and asking questions. The piece about facilitation and coaching is remembering to trust the wisdom in the room, because they know, like you said, Vivian, that there's an issue. They just need someone else on the outside to help them call it out and name it. So thank you for that. And we want to remind you that when you're coaching, you want to remain curious and ask questions. Because if you go in charging with just solutions, you miss an opportunity to see what already worked. And what some of the other underlying contradictions may be to you moving forward with the group. Help your mentee or whoever you're coaching get clear on what they're using in the design, and validate your choice. Like you know what you're doing, Vivian. It is a matter of standing in what your role is and sharing that. That's what they hired you for. Yeah. And continue to just be a good listener. And
I'm just reading all of the comments from everybody, and I think I'm gonna have to save the chat to be able to be both here and there, because there's a lot of great ideas.
Definitely. So we'd like you on slide 36 to, you can copy those questions down and think about what would be the next steps for you to grow professionally. We're trying to honor your time because we're going to get you out of here in 2 minutes, but we will be hanging out to answer any questions that you all have. If you go to slide 38, we have some resources for you. And I'm going to drop in the chat. For some reason, it didn't connect to this particular slide. One of the things we're going to share is, hold on, there is a 9 stages of the facilitator journey that's uploading to the chat right now. That gives a walkthrough of some of the levels that we talked about. If you click on the second white window on slide 38, There's an article, Know the Difference Between Coaching and Mentoring. You can click on that and download that. There's a video that Barbara did, which is amazing, about process facilitation explained. Also walks through the consensus workshop that we just did. You'll also have the links to our memberships that we're offering that you can learn more about on slide 39, and also ask us about. We're having a Q&A session tomorrow, 2 times, one in the morning and one in the evening, Pacific Standard Time. So if you look, okay, I'm not able to attend tomorrow's session, but I'm looking forward to engaging with the group again. But you're very welcome, Carolina. So the prices for our memberships are on slide 39, where you have access to our resource library. That's $14.95 a month. What you get is our the foundational competencies that we talked about. It's self-paced, so the courses that and content that you have access to are all self-paced. If you join the silver membership, this is everything in the bronze. But the difference is we also have working templates, like some of our slide decks. We have discovery calls with client templates that you can use. We have lots of different templates. So it's about making your access and your build with your work as a facilitator easier. You want to work smarter, not harder. And then you can schedule live Q&A sessions and trainings. You'll have access to that. And then finally, our gold membership is something that we're really excited about because it's a cohort membership. So it's everything in the bronze and silver. We're taking up to 15 participants. There's going to be our cohorts beginning in September, where we'll have actual live training sessions and peer coaching sessions. There's individual customized mentoring, and then there's peer feedback from your peers as well as from us. So you'll have this all access to us. And we're really excited about that program. If you need more information, you can contact either Barbara or I or both. Our contact information is on slide 40. And we want to thank you so much for joining us, no matter what time you are in the world. Barbara, is there anything you want to share?
No, it's been a real pleasure to meet you from around the world, and some of the people I know and many I don't know, and hopefully we'll connect again. We love being facilitators, and we're very passionate about helping others be the best facilitators they possibly can. And your ideas and contributions will help us tremendously build our database so that we can share that with you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Here's what you can expect coming forward. If you have not yet already, please open the link and provide some feedback to Barbara and Eileen about their great work building this facilitation journey thing. We will post the edited recording, the slides, the handouts, the links, your aggregated feedback in the Meeting Innovation community. Watch for that in the next week. And then please join us again in the future. We host free workshops on a very regular basis. They are all different. Tomorrow we're going to bop around Utopia and look at the facilitation of the change process. And next week we'll be looking at change models. So all kinds of things coming up there. I've got a glamping group coming in talking about facilitating high-end glamping events. Who does not want to get hired for that? That will be awesome. So talk to you all later. And then with that, we're officially done. We will hang out for questions for anybody who would like additional insights or support. But thank you, everybody.
Thanks all.
Thanks.
Thanks, Pat, for your comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, any thoughts to share?
That's an interesting conversation. I would love to do an event around that difference between group therapy and like business facilitation and like where that tension is coming in. That would be fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to thank both of you for absolutely being fabulous facilitators. That's leading by example. I really appreciated that. That was my comment about the group therapy, and it did sound like something had been rubbed raw with that group, and that they really needed to have some time to heal and maybe just express their thoughts. Maybe that was all the action that's required, and kind of like a recalcitrant. See, I'm having trouble with my words too as well.
Recalibration.
Well, recalcitrant. So meaning that they didn't want to change, right? They're kind of holding back, they're resisting. And so they have to work through that. And to your point about being able to name it, sometimes that might even be a little too much if they are really just at the point of wanting to express their difficulty and their sensitivity, what they're really sensitive about. But I do agree at some point, then you do want to lead them to kind of naming it, understanding it, and then introducing, like that whole thing that if you are in pain, underneath that there could be anger, then fear and doubt, and that whole layer of uncovering can happen, but they have to be in that first phase of just expressing what frustrations they might be having.
Yeah. And I just, because I am still here listening, because I saw that anti-structure comment, and that's the exact right way to put it. It's this anti-structure movement. And I'm just up island from Barbara. In fact, I'm coming down to Victoria on the 25th. So I'll send you an email about that. But here, and I don't know, like you never know when you're in a cultural bubble or if it's something that's going on outside of your bubble. But here the term is decolonization.
Yes.
And people with lived experience. And so how do we, when you talk about group therapy, how do I work with people and get the power level with people with lived experience who probably do need some therapy, who do need that other process? Because I'm dealing with people like who are knee deep in opioid crisis, who are survivors of residential schools or their children, also from the LGBTQ, like in this particular group, it's leaders from each of those individual groups trying to come together to work together. So they're all actually bringing completely different trauma. And while one person can see the chip on that person's shoulder, they can't see the chip on their own shoulder, or like the healing that needs to happen for themselves. And I don't know like how to be both inclusive of that new information and also mindful of the frustration that they are all experiencing because they don't feel like they're actually getting anything done. They don't feel like they're actually able to make any movement. And so like, it's like what I would love to do a session on, or like really talk about is how do we decolonize on a timeline? Because everybody is in this rush, like everybody wants it now, but they also want to do it so slowly.
So
it's a real conundrum.
Something that I would offer, Vivian, is that it goes back to you have to name what the block is, right? And imagine all of us, we're all in that group, right? The assumption is my perception of your block isn't your block unless you told me that's your block. And even if you told me that, it may not be what the block is. So if one of the methods that Barbara and I use a lot is the the technology of participation method. And so that paradigm is all about participatory engagement. So there's this level of individual awareness that becomes shared, and then you can have shared agreement on how to move forward. So I also use appreciative inquiry with groups, like galvanizing what are the different things that came for people that, I'm frozen. Oh, there I am. Okay.
No, you're good.
I always say I'm frozen now instead of that you're frozen. See, Barbara, it happened. Like, I guess y'all could still hear me, but everybody was frozen. So thinking about asking the group, being curious about like, what are the things that bring them together? And then what are they experiencing? What excites them? And then what draws them in, and what's having them push back? And having individuals talk about that to bring that to the forefront. And then it helps you on that, keep guiding the conversation forward, because we can't move forward if we don't agree on the direction that we're going, or if we don't agree on how we're going to get there.
Oh, and Eileen, just before you get there, I just want to jump in and interject, because you know how you started today's session with a visualization?
Mhm.
This is a great opportunity to allow each of those participants to look ahead, maybe 50 or 100 years. Their problem has been solved. And then now they would come back to say how they would do it. You would then start to have some really great conversations around that. But can they even imagine the problem being solved? This is also going to be one of the questions. I was in a Green Party of Canada meeting where they did that exact same thing. They asked us to visualize 100 years ahead. All green problems have been solved. What did you see? 5 people around my table could not see a future where all the problems have been solved. Now you know you have something to work with. And then if those people do have a vision of what is possible, then you have steps to move towards it. Anyway, that's my little 2 cents.
Anyone else? Any other things you want, questions you have, or things you want to share? We have a few more minutes. Group that doesn't see
Jamie, Maisha's working with a group that doesn't see the value of putting language phrasing of the questions. Can you say more about that, Jamie? Or is that you?
I will have to
you,
go.
James?
I'm so sorry. No,
okay.
No, that was.
But I will have to go. But thank you so much, all of you, but especially both of you. Okay.
Thanks,
James, for your brilliance, your intelligence.
Yeah, hope to see you soon again.
Great.
I have to go as well because I've got another meeting in 15 minutes, and but I'll see you tomorrow because I've booked there, and so
excellent.
I'm really interested in that.
Thanks. Nice to see you, Andrew, as always.
Nice meeting
you.
you.
It was a great experience. Thanks. Keep it up.
Thank you. Jamie, do you want to spend a little bit of time on your question?
Sure. Thank you. So I'm dealing with a group that needs to, they've already been in business for some time, but they haven't worked through and developed and articulated their mission, vision, and values. And I've been trying to set up a meeting where we can start to talk through that and get that written through. But it's taking that pause to actually do that work, to get it on paper, and showing that that's important. It's been hard for me to somehow bridge that and explain that.
Go ahead,
Barbara. Vivian put in a comment, working with clean language. Maybe we'll come back to that. But so Jamie, it sounds like the group is discouraged.
I don't know that they're discouraged. They think that they're fine. They don't think that, that having, it's like they're living that, and having it written down or being able to communicate it to others is important, and yet so
Jamie, can I ask you what is your role? What do they want you to do?
I think that's part of the issue. So this is my husband's business, and nobody's asked me. So I understand that there's an importance to it, and I am trying to explain to them that there is value in taking the time to do this, and I have not been able to break through that.
Okay, so my suggestion first is to maybe do a discovery meeting with the group or with your husband and the other person, but as a facilitator, not as someone who, you have an inside track on what the business is, because you really only have an inside track to his perspective. So if it's his business, if he has a business partner, have a meeting with both of them and then just walk them through what's their vision. Ask them some grounding question. What keeps you up at night? What's got your wheels turning? What do you want to accomplish? And then you can find out what that is and then ask, okay, how do you think I can help you? Because even though you're in a predicament of being on the outside and seeing lots of ways they can improve, but you want to be clear on how you can serve them. And if there's a way you can help them by serving them, by helping them to revisit, rebrand their vision, mission, value statements, then you can offer that. But they're not going to ask you, because oftentimes clients, they think one thing and you get to figure out, okay, in order to reach that destination, here are the things that you need along the way. So the first thing you want to know is, how do they think you can help? Then you can always offer, well, these are some other things that I see where I can help. And then get real clear.
Yeah, that's good.
You always got to start with, you're welcome. You always got to start with, how can I help and what is my role? Because if I'm hired, I was just going to say, if I'm hired to facilitate a group, I get real clear on, is there documentation? Who's going to do it? Do you want analysis? If I'm facilitating a focus group, am I doing a thematic analysis? Am I just collecting data? Am I just facilitating? Is there someone else? I got to get real clear on what my role is. And then knowing that I have the event, then I ask other questions. Who are the people that are going to be in the group? What's the background? If I'm facilitating a team, what is some information that I need to know about the members of the team? What are they struggling with? What keeps them up at night? Do I need to interview those members? So you want to make sure that you help them get clear, because you are not, you're not just, you're not Jamie the wife. You are Jamie the facilitator. And so you have to talk to your husband about, hey, this is the method that I use. I need to have at least your partner there with you as well. It can't be us at the coffee table.
Right.
Can I just add to that? Can I just add to that? Because I have a husband who has a startup company, and I actually, visual cueing has worked for us. So I have a very specific outfit that I wear when I'm playing the role of the facilitator, that he and I have had to get clear on, like, when I'm here as your finding your horizon person, I am not your wife. And so I actually have an outfit. Like, I literally changed into a certain outfit so he can see me differently.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And I love that, finding your horizon. That's great.
Do we have time for one more?
Anyone wish to do one more, or send us a note if you can't? And we'll sign off. I should let Elise go. She's been up for a very long time.
I'm always happy to hold the space to hear all these great ideas.
So nice that we had some people willing to share their dilemmas. And if you have more and you can join us tomorrow, please do. And we just loved being with you. Thank you so much, Elise, for allowing us to have this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Amy had something. I have experienced emerging groups are action-oriented and want to build strategy and action plans, and less interested in stepping back and taking time to align on the mission, vision, values. I have had the experience of asking about why these are important and how they might be helpful to the group.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Amy.
And
good to see you too.
You don't always need those things to begin with, honestly. You just don't.
Yeah. So. You don't know what you don't know until you start asking questions.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Barbara and Eileen. We will see you all in the future. Watch for the recording later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vishaka.
Bye, all.
Bye, Amy.
Bye.